Okay, so this is where it all started. I found this partially started head on eBay and won it for a song. And when it arrived, as you can probably tell, well, you might not be able to, the proportions aren't right. The arms are too long. So I ended up cutting it to pieces, basically, shortening everything and welding it all back up. It came with this angle on the back, which I changed eventually. You can see it there. Now that's after I've cut all the arms up, shortened them. You can see that they're much better proportions now. There's the hammer. You'll see later on that I actually cut the tops off of that. Thanks to Dave Preston for telling me that. This was the 1.25" base plate that goes in the bottom of the hammer that the dies are subsequently bolted to. The tube that the hammer's made from, it's pretty heavy stuff. It's 10mm thick wall, but it's got very rounded corners, which actually worked out quite well. When I put it in the guide with the plastic, you can see that I've just started welding it in, and plug weld the sides all the way around. But when I put it in the guide tube with the plastic, I managed to put weld some round in each corner, which kept everything tight and square. Now they're the angle irons that I put around the top of the guide to hold in the plastic and the shims. That's the bottom all plug welded in. That weighs 12.5 kilos empty, with nothing in it. I subsequently put, I think, about another 10 or 12 kilos of lead in. You can see there I've cut the tops off. And so Dave told me about that, because when it comes up it has a tendency to hit the spring if they're too high. So I'll cut them down to the bare minimum. This is when I'm starting to just put everything together, just to make sure everything fits as it should. I sort of chocked it all up on the bench to make sure it all went together properly. The spring in the end I bought from America, the genuine one that the Clay Spencer hammers use, because the one that came with it wasn't quite right. This is the adjustable head, just making sure it slides on the main upright tube. Now you can see I've started putting it together on the tube, laying it all out, blocking it all up, tacking it all together. Took a bit of fiddling to get everything at the right height, because everything can move slightly because there's a pillow block in the top there, which can go anywhere. You have to get it all lined up. This was just grinding the hammer just to make sure it was all level. While I was waiting for bits and pieces to come, I made up my first set of dies. They are EN24. First ones I hardened, subsequent ones I didn't bother. I found that you didn't actually need to. It's hard enough without. But they're just a pair of combination dies. Now this is the base plate. I got a lot of my stuff from the local scrapyard, and I went looking for a bit of plate for the base, but I couldn't find anything. But they do use this strip. They do a lot of girder work, and they use this strip. It's a foot wide, 16mm, 5/8 thick. So I just got them to cut me a couple of strips 2 foot long, just welded them together. That was the easiest way around it.
Okay, so I've made some good progress on the hammer today. I've actually got it upright. Welded 2 pieces of 16mm plate together for the base. 2 pieces of 6-inch solid together for the anvil. Got my base plate on the part mast stuck on. Everything else welded up. You'll notice that the head is adjustable. Got a bit overkill with the 16mm bolts, but it's all I'd got, so I've got loads of them and not a 12mm in the place. And it works a treat to slide up and down. I haven't got the jack in it yet, but I've been using my engine hoist. Got the lead in the hammer. Got my spring in, got my lead weight on the top, so we're getting there. My motor should be arriving today or tomorrow. I had to buy one in the end because the one I've got is too small, and then it's just a case of fettling it and putting it together.
Waiting for the paint. The S's on there is for the 2 sides that I've got the shims in at the moment, because it was all a bit tight with 4 shims in. They're stainless steel, so I've just put 2 in for the time being, and as the plastic wears, which I'm sure it will eventually, instead of tightening the shims up that are in there, I'll just add more shims on the other 2 sides and then start all over again, tightening it up. But so far I've used it quite a bit and I haven't had to tighten anything up yet. Just keep it well lubricated. These are just other random shots of it as I've put it together. This was me making the pulley for the motor. I cast this myself in an old tin can, and there it is assembled on the motor. It's got grub screws in those 2 holes at the back, and it's also got a bolt through the middle onto the end of the shaft with a big washer all Loctited on. I had to end up buying this motor because the one I'd got wasn't powerful enough. I think it was costing me about 140 quid, something like that. But it does the trick. You can just see it there mounted on the left. That's a better shot of it. All in place. And there you can just, if you squint, see the brake pad directly under the middle of the tyre. That's works very well. This is virtually complete now. I've got the jack in there. Everything's tightened up. Got the springs on. Everything's ready to go. The treadle, made that out of just a bit of 1/2-inch gas bent up. Now this is the first try, I think. It's all wired up. Nothing's greased or oiled because I didn't want to get any grease or oil in the way before I painted it, so that's why it looks a little bit stiff, but it works and it's remarkably controllable. I was really surprised how controllable it can be, and having the head adjustable makes it even more useful. It's incredible. So the first lot of paint going on the primer. Everything was hung up, bits everywhere around the shop, priming it all up. And then I decided to make another set of dies whilst the paint was drying. So this is just grinding up some more steel blocks. They're a little bit hard, so that's why I'm grinding them rather than putting them on the mill. I thought it would be a bit easier on the grinder. That's them finished, or surfaced anyway. Now I'll just radius the corners. These I'm just leaving as complete flat dies. I shall just radius the corners, and there it is, all painted up. Ready to be put in position. The only thing left to put on it was the guard over the spring. This is another go just after it was painted. See, the floor where it's mounted isn't very solid. Fortunately, where I put it in the end is an awful lot more solid, a lot thicker concrete. But I was certainly pretty chuffed with it. I've made a few machines, and this is one of my most successful, I think. That's its final resting place. I had to move stuff around in the shop, but that's where it's going. I've got the guard on there now, you can see. It's mounted on about 10mm thick rubber. So there's a rubber sheet under the 1/2 inch plate, or the 5/8 plate. And we're all ready to go. The only thing I haven't done yet is filled it with sand. That's the final touch, my plaque that was sent to me by SW Dweeb. Thanks Perry. Nice little touch that he cast me. So there we go. Quick look at my hammer build. Hope that's helped somebody. See you later.